live.
We're live. Welcome to Gameday 716. Noah's hammered, which is why he's got the glasses on.
Prime time, baby.
Prime time, baby. Okay. He's worked all day. So, there's that.
Okay.
How was work? How has your life been? I haven't seen you in a long time.
That's not true. We saw each other
at the Sabres thing for 2 hours, and then you were like, "Peace out, Dad."
Oh, okay. That's not true.
It is true. How long was it? How long?
I'm not saying it was long by any stretch of the imagination. I'm just saying it wasn't like I was like ditching you or something. But
differences of opinion.
I don't know. I've been fine, I guess. What about you?
Life's fine.
Yeah, whatever.
Life's fine.
Working, the normal.
Work, sleep, eat. Work, sleep, eat.
Basically, yeah.
Sleep, eat.
Sleep, eat, work.
Sleep, eat, work. Work, sleep, eat. Sleep. No, eat, sleep, work. For us. Yeah. For you, it's work, sleep, eat.
Yeah, kind of.
Sleep.
It's work, eat, sleep, eat, work.
And this is what you've missed.
Working,
You've missed
great
us.
Stuff.
Me and Noah, you've missed our banter. CJ will possibly be joining us at some point. He is at...
Yeah, I mean, he knew Mike Williams, the wide receiver who used to play for us.
Yeah, he was a friend of Mike Williams who passed away, played for the Bills in the Tampa,
yeah. And a couple other teams.
And a couple other teams.
Those are the two he's most remembered
for. He went to high school with him, and there was a memorial for him. So, what about the glasses, though? There was a memorial for him today, and CJ went to that. So, CJ might join us.
But you got us.
You got us, right now. And if CJ comes, you got a little more spice to your life. Let's talk about some injured Bills.
Okay.
Von Miller's hurt.
Yes.
Did you know?
Did you know?
What? What am I supposed to know?
He might be coming. Well, he is coming back to practice this week.
This week? You've got to be kidding me.
I'm shocked as well. Can you believe it?
So
it's like they told us 4 weeks,
After the 4 weeks, he's actually coming back.
Yeah.
I'm actually surprised by that.
I'm not.
I am.
Why?
I don't know, because they've been lying about him the whole time.
Here's the thing. Okay. We haven't even been around to talk about this, so we're going to get into this because I have a theory.
Okay.
That he was actually ready for week 1.
No.
I think he was. I think at least, okay, maybe he wasn't 100%, but he could have at least gone out there and given you 30 snaps, maybe, for the first 4 games, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they looked at that and went, we play the Jets, and then we play
the other 2 teams.
Right.
Yeah.
The Commanders and the Raiders. And then, yes, we have Miami at that week 4, but if we can just let him rest for 4 weeks, and I would bet you it was like as long as we come out of there 3-1, 4-0, 2-2, it's fine. And most likely they're going to be 3-1 or 2-2 after Sunday, which is the best case scenario, honestly, for the injury of not having Von Miller.
They could have gone 4-0.
Well, they could have, right, if they knew how to cover a punt and he didn't outkick the punt team, but that's another story. But, yeah, they could have gone 4-0. But I think if you sit there, and I think if you're the Bills, you're saying as long as we are able to make the playoffs and he's healthy for the playoffs, that's what we would rather have. So you take the gamble that at 4 weeks, at the bare minimum, you'll be 2-2. You have him rest, and when he comes back, he's 100% ready to go instead of being at 70%, which is good enough. which is good enough for a player of his caliber. Because, like I said, that's 30, 40 snaps he could have given you. Right. Sure, that's a decent amount of snaps, but I think they sat there and
might have screwed with Zach Wilson a little.
Yeah, but look at how Groot has performed. I think that they had the expectation that the defensive line was going to get home this year, and they have. They had 9 sacks against the Commanders last week. They got to Garoppolo the week before, and they got to Wilson enough to at least bring it to overtime. Now, there were obviously other things that happened in that game, but we don't have to talk about that.
Thank you.
But, I think they decided to take a gamble. I think he was ready enough. And they sat there and said, no, let's get him to 100% and let's have him be there. And that's why he's back right away and not week 5, week 6.
We'll see.
We'll see. I mean, if he doesn't
starting practice.
Yeah. Right? But also think about it. Leading up into the season, he was running. He was doing sprints. He was doing solo drills by himself, which at the point of time when he was doing those drills, everybody was like, holy crap, how is he able to do that? Because he right. Basically, I mean, he should have still been rehabbing, but he seemed to be at the point where he was past the point of having to like go do PT and that kind of stuff, and was able to get into the more football side of things, which he was able to do that early, which was surprising. And I think that's why they took that gamble. And I think that's what it was. I think he was ready for week 1. I think he could have at least gone out there a little bit, given you something. But at his age and with the type of injury, I think you do want to get him to 100%. But I also think that's why he's coming back in week 5. I just think,
he's starting practice.
Well, yes. I mean, he's coming. I mean, he's probably going to be removed off the list. I think you have to be removed off the PUP list.
Who do you pull?
Well, I think.
He doesn't have to go on the roster yet.
Yeah, I don't think he'll count as a roster spot right away.
He just gets
but I don't know how all that works, unfortunately. But I mean, when he comes
now
back,
he goes into a unpup, not ready for football list or whatever it is.
Yeah. Well, I'm sure they'll either have another guy that they can put on like IR, or I mean, I think you look at your DB situation and you look at
speaking of injured guys and DBs.
Yeah, there we go. Look at that transition.
Joe Poe.
No go.
Oh. How about that?
Yeah, but
Joe Poe means Jordan Poyer.
But it's not Cam Lewis stepping up into the spot.
It's Taylor Rapp.
Yes.
Do you know Taylor Rapp ran a 4.7 at the combine?
That's fast. He's also big. He's bigger than you think he is.
A 4.7 is fast?
Fast enough.
That's what I told people too, but most people were mocking him for that. I said it's
what's his 40 time now?
I said to one person from Miami who was going back and forth with me about this, said
rational fans always.
Actually, Miami fans, to their credit, on Twitter have been pretty good.
Well, that's because they don't.
Pretty good.
I think they're worried about.
No. Oh, no. They're not. They're not that good.
Oh.
But they have shown respect isn't the right word. Restraint. I would say after their team scored 70 points.
Well, that's probably because Josh Allen has.
No. Oh no, they've been making fun of Allen all week. They've been ripping.
They haven't really been.
They've been ripping into Allen all week, but
that's not showing restraint.
They have been showing restraint about their 70 points because as Bills fans,
it was against Denver, and I want to make a case that Denver is under Sean Payton the worst coached team in the entire league.
Were they better under Hackett?
No, and I'm not. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that the roster is fantastic, and they weren't any better under Hackett.
A&W, zero sugar.
But, it's even worse under Payton. And did not think that would be possible. The only bright spot has been Russell Wilson, to me. but he hasn't even done enough.
And it doesn't seem like Wilson is listening to Peyton
or something. I mean,
like that's how I feel.
I don't think he has the
like,
locker room.
He's just whipping it downfield and hoping guys make the catch.
Yeah.
Like that's what I see from Wilson. Like, especially in Wilson highlights, because I don't sit there and watch Denver.
Right.
So Wilson highlights have been a lot of just Wilson chucking it.
Mm-hmm.
And then
and
then guys going to make the play and him going, that worked, that helped for my yards. Thank you, fantasy owners.
I mean, he put up 306 yards last week against Miami. He was 23 for 38.
Right.
I mean, that's not like terrible.
He had a TD
like and a pick.
55% or something.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I always feel like when you're a quarterback and you can at least get over 50% of your passes completed, it's a good day.
They did score 20.
Yeah.
So they only lost by 50.
Yeah. But I want to make a case that Denver is the worst coach team in the entire league.
A&W zero sugar.
That's saying something because Brandon Staley is still a head coach.
Brandon Staley, there's an odds thing out there about which coach is going to get fired. And 33 to 1.
They're not going to fire Peyton.
He's at 33 to, he's in the top 10.
I think he's not going to get
tied with 33 to 1 with like 3 other guys. McDaniels.
Where is the Vikings head coach?
Not the Vikings head coach.
He's not on the list
Josh
at all?
McDaniels.
I know that, but I'm talking about.
I don't remember.
Oh, do you remember Kevin O'Connell? That's who their head coach is. You don't remember him on the list?
Wasn't that the weatherman at Channel 2?
No, Kevin. No. Well, maybe, but I'm pretty sure the Vikings head coach is Kevin O'Connell. But anyway, I feel like he should be on that list too.
Kevin O'Connell. Yeah, Channel 2 must have maybe it was Kevin O'Donnell.
Maybe. I think you're right there. But
McDonald.
I feel like he should be on the list.
O'Donnell.
The Vikings are 0-3, and Kirk Cousins is on pace to throw for 6,000 yards.
Tua.
Yeah, he's
got more yards than Tua.
Yeah, he's on pace to throw for 6,000 yards and 50-some TDs. He's close. He was like projected to get like 53 TDs, which is 2 away from the all-time record of 55. And then he was projected for like 2 picks because he has yet to throw a pick until
he did
against the Chargers.
Right.
But still.
But speaking of the Chargers, Staley was near the top as well.
It should be, yes.
So it's those
he's
Nevada, California team because he's misusing Herbert.
Well, he also still does not understand clock management. Against the Vikings, he had a snafu again. I think he either tried to use a timeout that he didn't have, or he didn't realize like the play clock was running out or something, and didn't take a timeout, and it knocked them out of field goal position. And it was something to do, and that's how they got to OT.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, Grandma says Kevin O'Connell. It was Kevin O'Connell. So there are 2 Kevin O'Connells.
There are 2 Kevin O'Connells in the world.
Can you believe it? But yeah, I mean,
it's not Irish at all.
But I think, Staley should be there. Peyton should be there. McDaniels should 100% be there because I don't think he's head coach material.
Salah's
not going to be there because they're going to go, well, Rodgers got hurt on the first play. What are you going to do? And unless he loses the locker room, because he will not, under any circumstances, go away from Zach Wilson, it seems like, which is just ridiculous.
Angering his defense.
Yes. But then they signed Trevor Siemian to the practice squad, and it's like...
Simeon's okay. He's better than Wilson. What other options do they have?
Teddy Bridgewater is backing up Jared Goff in Detroit.
Okay, but does Detroit want to lose Bridgewater? What happens if Goff goes down?
Well, that's the risk you take if you make a good enough trade.
But if you make a good enough trade, sure. But he's like worth a 4th or something. Would you rather get a 4th or have a solid backup?
Oh, I understand that. I'm just saying from the Jets' perspective.
From the Bills' perspective, it might make sense.
Kyle, yeah.
2 Allens in the AFC East.
Can't have that.
Whoa. That would be weird. So,
but yeah, I agree with that head coaching list, and I think Kevin O'Connell should be there because going 0-3, losing the way they did against the Chargers, losing, and then I mean, yes, sure, the games have been close, but it's like they shouldn't be 0-3. I think if it keeps going this way, he might be fired in the season, in my opinion.
Staley?
Yes.
Yeah.
Because I mean, you lost one game last year, 2 games last year.
I don't know.
Won the NFC North, and you're 0-3 with basically the exact same roster, losing to the Bucks by 3 points, then losing to the Eagles, which that game wasn't even close until the end because the Eagles went up big and then went into zone for like half the game. And then, you lost to the Chargers. And it was on a freak play. The ball bounced around, but still, you still lost. I feel like those are 3 teams, maybe not the Eagles, but at least the Buccaneers and Chargers, where I would be like going, if I went in line, I would pick the Vikings, I think, in those 2 scenarios. Because I would expect that.
Logically.
Yeah. And they're 0-3.
They should start trading off their defensive talent.
Well, I don't think that they.
I'm sorry, not San Diego. I mean Minnesota.
Yeah, the Vikings. Well, I don't think that they expected to be 0-3, but I don't think that there's also the expectation that they're going to miss the playoffs. I think that they got to make the playoffs. I mean, there's.
Or what?
I think O'Connell will get fired.
Oh, well, yeah.
So I don't think they'll start trading off because I don't think that that's the expectation in the building. You know what I mean? Like to tank, essentially.
What is it, like 5% of teams that start 0-3 make the playoffs?
So that means there's a 5%.
There's still a chance.
There's a chance.
I hate that thing at the beginning of
the NFL. Any given Sunday, anything can happen.
Oh.
Just because they started 0-3 doesn't mean they're going to end the season 0-16. Exactly. Well, there's 14 games left.
Not 13, which makes it easier to get into the playoffs.
Right. And there's 7 seeds instead of 6. So you got 1 extra seed.
1 extra seed.
1 extra thing you can do. I mean,
1 extra thing you can do.
You got to at least beat. You can beat the Bears twice because they're abysmal. That's. Speaking about worst coach teams in the league.
Oh, they need to clean house.
I mean, that just needs to be done. I mean, Matt Eberflus is crying because his defensive coordinator is into some stuff that involves the FBI when he was told. Apparently, nobody thinks the
Coca-Cola cherry, no sugar.
Nobody thinks the offensive coordinator there.
Sponsor our podcast.
If only. Nobody thinks that the offensive coordinator there can design an offense, which means, he's misusing Fields. That defense is.
Is he misusing Fields or is Fields bad?
I don't know. I feel like though they don't have anything. Chase Claypool is your number 1, and he's not even trying.
What about?
And then is sitting there and going
Mooney or whatever. Who's the guy they got from Carolina or whatever?
Yeah, they have Darnell Mooney. Yeah, but I mean, this passing offense has done nothing.
Who's tearing up the league? Adam Thielen.
I'm shocked by that. Honestly, I didn't expect him and Young to have such chemistry.
They do, though.
They do. They really do. It's awesome.
It's kind of cool.
It's good for him.
It's good for him. It's nice to see him come back.
And the development of his career. Kelvin Benjamin in year 1. A little different than Adam Thielen.
Robert Foster.
I just want to, just real quick. I watched Josh on the podcast that Kyle Allen does with his Jordan Palmer.
Oh.
And they had Josh on that podcast, and they were talking about that. He was talking about year 1 And obviously, Kyle Allen and Josh Allen didn't say anything. And Jordan Palmer was like, well, he's throwing at guys like Kelvin Benjamin and put that in there. And Josh was like, hey, like, hold on. Like, whoa. He's like, nah, Kelvin was good. He was like, like, and all that stuff. And trying to protect them. But I just thought that was funny. Like Jordan Palmer. Everybody knew. I mean,
they did think, though, that Benjamin was an actual addition when he just turned out to be
an addition,
a tight end trying to play wide receiver at that point.
Yeah,
basically, you know what they say, you can't be a tight end if you're a wide receiver.
All right.
True. So Ryder Cup, Koepka and Scheffler out of 4 balls after a 9-7 loss. What that means? No, me neither. Okay, moving on.
All I know is that the
Rory got mad.
Demolished.
They went 3-1 today. Whatever. I don't know.
Well, yesterday they lost like 9-1.
But Koepka and Scheffler lost 4 balls.
That's a lot of balls.
They're out of 4 balls. That's what I know about
each.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, okay. Well, yeah, I don't think the USA is winning. They might have done well today, but I don't think they're winning.
I remember a year where they got down really bad, and I was watching this. I watched it like all weekend, and like at the Ryder, like I even remember going like to Sergeant Pepperoni's at the Pew with my friends at HSBC, and we started watching the Ryder Cup during lunch, and I don't know if we went back to work that day, but like yeah, they got down by a lot, so we probably did go back because they were getting destroyed, but then they came back. They like won everything on Sunday, and so that's that. Back to football, which people actually care about. College was interesting.
Yeah.
Auburn almost caught. They were close. They put in some effort.
Yeah, they did. Good for them.
Auburn.
They get a gold star today.
What is it? War Eagle, right? They're War Eagle. Yeah. War Eagle. But go Dogs.
Yeah.
Or something.
Brock Bowers is just.
He's Brock Bowers,
It's like he's one of those players in college where it's like it doesn't really seem to matter who he's lined up against, what defense is, what like it just doesn't.
But Georgia has those. Well, yeah.
He's one of those guys.
Yeah,
he's gonna do.
Yeah, I concur.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of
Kentucky, whooped up on Florida.
Yeah,
Florida was ranked. Kentucky was not. Kentucky is now 5-0 and 2-0 in the SEC. So, that's
Michigan on Nebraska.
Which was expected. Go Big Red women's volleyball. Sponsor us.
Kansas was close. And
they probably have their own podcast. Actually, I think almost each female on the Nebraska team has show and stuff.
And the Kansas and Texas game was close until it wasn't. Kansas had them, and then just things just started to go Texas's way, and then it was like, okay, obviously Texas has a roster. That's kind of what it was,
right? Kansas is still a program building, right? Yeah. Like, I mean, every year they seem to get better.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean they're ranked.
Yeah. And what's his face from UB is their coach.
Yeah.
Lance Leipold.
Speaking of UB, they got their first win today.
Yeah,
keeping up their win streak against the Packers. Apparently,
sweet.
They have won the last 7 matches.
Nice. So you can always guarantee that UB is going to get one win.
They won overtime.
One win a year for UB.
The defense showed up today. So
Notre Dame today. That's a big matchup.
That is a big matchup. Not just for college football,
But for Kevin Freeman,
and to see if the Duke QB is legit.
He is legit.
I think he's legit too. He reminds me of Josh, and not in like the stupid way, but in like that real way. But the only thing that's the difference is he's like
he plays for Duke in a higher level conference. So if he comes out, he wouldn't be compared to Josh. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean,
every quarterback who comes out,
I mean, every
now compared to
Josh because you never know.
If they have a bad,
Josh, it's possible that if you put in the effort and you do the right things,
right,
you really work at it. Yeah, you can improve.
That's
which
true.
was something that was dense. But the thing that Josh always talked about when he talks about where he really took that next step was when he mapped out his mechanics.
Yeah.
And like the guy in like he sat down with his QB coach Jordan Palmer and the guy, they were like, your mechanics are terrible.
Right.
Like they're like you're putting in so much effort when you could just be like what he is now, where it seems to go 80.
Except they won't let him do that.
Yeah. Sometimes.
I could complain about the offense all day, even though they've scored in 37 in their last game.
We'll get there.
I will not complain about the offense because it sounds
that's 7th overall.
Because it sounds stupid. It sounds stupid with the reasons I have that I'm annoyed, but they're not stupid to me. And that's what matters. Is me.
This is our podcast.
It is. It's our show.
It's our therapy.
Welcome to the StreamYard. They do.
Right.
Buffalo guys.
Derek May.
Right. No, we weren't. We're North Carolina.
Oh. We were talking about the Duke QB.
The Duke QB. No. Derek May is North Carolina. The Duke QB, I think he's a freshman.
No, because he can come out this year. He's coming out this year. Who's their QB?
Now I'm thinking of the Penn State QB.
Yeah. Yes, the Penn State. Riley Leonard.
Okay.
Okay, yes. So Riley Leonard, 6'4", 212 pounds.
And he's a jerk.
What?
A junior that may have sounded like a slur.
I thought you said jerk. So.
Oh, a jerk. Okay.
But so yes. I don't know.
I keep cutting out and we have an echo-like sound.
Just go into. I'll just keep talking. Try going into the settings. But so Riley Leonard, he reminds me of Josh. But like I said, he just seems to be always calm and collected. Where Josh.
Yeah, maybe I'm sitting too far back.
Yeah, there we go.
Maybe that's what it is.
Or maybe it's not.
Maybe it's not her.
But yeah, he just seems that he like when they faced who was their first game against?
Someone else. No, but he was fun to watch for a little while.
When they played Clemson, he never seemed to worry. You know, there was never like a moment where the camera was on him on the sidelines.
Yeah, cool and collected, like you said.
Yeah.
He did seem, and they did beat Clemson.
Right, from 28-7. Because Clemson is overrated.
They're very overrated.
I don't think Dabo is a good coach
anymore. It's because you know what it is, and I didn't know this.
Superstar at quarterback.
No, he refuses to use the transfer.
Oh, he's one of those.
Yeah.
Well, that's dumb.
It's really idiotic. Yeah. You can't not use it.
I mean, like guys are going to like North Texas State to be like, if I break records,
right?
Like,
I'm gonna run up my numbers so then I can go to Texas,
right? Or just declare and be the first ever NFL player drafted from North Texas State.
Right.
Like, that's ridiculous. That's gonna cost them, and it has already. I mean, I don't think he's. I never thought Clemson was that, except because it was to me I mean, he was carried by Watson. He was carried by the play of Lawrence. Both to me, when Watson was good, he was good.
He's coming around.
Lawrence, I think, is really good and is only just going to get better.
You don't remember Clemson before a certain point, I think, probably, and like when they were heavily loaded, heavily. No, I only know down. So it may be.
I mean, Clemson was always good, right? Clemson was always.
When I was growing up, they were terrible.
So, well, I mean, like recently. I mean,
so was North Carolina.
You know what I mean? So that's the thing also about like North Carolina. They never had. That's what we considered, and now they're getting players too. And it's like, if you're not going to use the transfer portal, that's dumb. That's on you. And that's not much more to say.
Like if you're Dabo, like it doesn't seem like a Dabo thing, like because he seems like he'll do anything to get ahead, like one of those coaches.
Yes,
you know what I mean. Like he'll pay guys under like before the nil stuff was going on.
Come on. I mean,
like he would pay guys under the table
like
and
huge ass car, and he was like a freshman.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, yeah, he did that stuff,
and
when it was illegal, but not really.
Right. You mean it was like, happening
don't get caught.
Right.
Unless you have a fall guy like Johnny Manziel did.
I still have to watch it. Don't spoil it for me because I don't know what happens.
Yeah, he still
played. That's what I thought. The Raiders quarterback. Speaking of the Raiders, no Garoppolo this week.
Yeah, good luck.
Who's their backup?
If I know.
I know they have Aiden O'Connell as a draft pick. But
I don't. O'Connell.
Anyway, the quarterback from Iowa last year was Aiden O'Connell.
Let's see who their backup QB is.
I'm trying to remember.
Brian Hoyer.
Of course. Josh McDaniels' boy.
No, that just what that means. Brian Hoyer is going to come out and roll on fire.
He's going to Garoppolo.
Right. And then they're going to be like QB controversy, or they're going to hold Garoppolo out for 1 more week, and then he's going to.
Or they're going to fire McDaniels.
Yeah.
Full circle.
Right, exactly.
Or wait, did
Brian Hoyer getting Josh McDaniels fired? Yeah, that would be very full circle.
And Belichick sits back.
Coaching tree is awful.
And then he'll call McDaniels and say,
"Hey, you want a job?
You could be my quarterback's coach."
Bill O'Brien,
the offensive line coach,
or like the assistant head coach, or they'll make like McDaniel the assistant head coach, but like, and then you'll
engineer.
Then they'll still be sticking with Mac Jones next year, and you'll hear all the noise again about them, and there'll be some power struggle between McDaniel and Bill O'Brien, and then of course. He'll choose McDaniel because he has the connection. Belichick will choose McDaniel and fire Bill O'Brien, and then Bill O'Brien will go back to college.
They'll draft McCarthy from Iowa in the 4th round.
Yeah,
and who played in Michigan last year.
Right, and
is
right,
McCarthy
but then
the
Bill
one
O'Brien will go back to college,
right.
And then they'll draft some QB. But they still won't be good. And then Belichick will retire. McDaniels will take over, and then he'll call. And then McDaniels.
Well, no, Mayo's going to take over.
Oh, that's right. Mayo is going to take over. So yeah, the Mayo will take over, and then
right,
and then it'll be the end of the Belichick side. But I'm sure that if Belichick's coaching and Bill O'Brien doesn't get fired, and McDaniels somehow makes his way back to that staff, that at some point there will come a time where Bill O'Brien will be back with the Patriots. And again, because talking about full circles,
in the end,
he has 3 guys he can. That's true too, and he also has only 3 guys he trusts, and I don't think one of them is his son.
He has a mullet. I mean, what do you expect?
Yeah, you need
sons with mullets
holds the pencil. He chews on the pencil, but not in the right way.
Yeah,
sideways, like he's eating corn on the cob. What are we doing?
That's true.
But
what are they doing? So he trusts Patricia. He trusts Bill O'Brien.
Mm-hmm.
He trusts McDaniels.
Mm-hmm.
He trusts Mayo.
Yeah.
So he trusts ketchup, mustard.
No, he's probably one of those guys who doesn't even put ketchup on anything except steak.
I don't put ketchup on much.
I bet he put. I would not be surprised if Bill Belichick put ketchup on.
I eat my hot dogs solo.
It depends on where I am. If I'm at like a game or something, I'm not taking the time unless it's a Sabres game. Like if it's at a Bills game, but sometimes even at a Sabres game. Like if it's too packed or whatever, I'm not taking the time to go walk to the thing and put ketchup on.
You're just
throwing it out. Yeah, eating the hot dog.
How do you do that?
Just like this.
Like this?
Yes.
Not okay.
Yeah, no, but it's where I am if I want ketchup.
But
I'm not gonna I'm not gonna take that time. I'm out. You know what I mean?
I do.
But
now more trouble sound with Noah.
I will sit closer. Probably have to sit closer. But anyway, we were talking about. Okay, do we finish our conversation on Riley Leonard? Are we good there?
Yes, we didn't know who we were talking about in the first place. We both had different guys.
But once I knew it was.
So tell me about the Dolphins. I haven't really heard any news about them in the last week or.
They're an aquatic animal. They live in the water.
They're mammals.
Gray fish, I guess.
Bluish gray.
Kind of long.
Turquoise.
They got a tail and a fins, multiple fins.
Multiple fins.
Yeah. So anyway, Dolphins, right? No Jalen Phillips for them.
Can you make a Dolphins noise?
No. No Jalen Phillips for them. No. No Jalen Phillips for them in this game.
Let's
potentially
try.
No Terran Armstead. No Teron Armstead. I think
he'll play.
Probably.
He'll play. So it's no Poyer for us, no Phillips for them. That's even. That's an even loss.
But that helps us. One less guy in the head. Don't worry about Bradley Chubb. I think Melvin is still on their roster.
Yes.
So, who always
Wilkins is the big worry, right?
Oh, yeah.
Wilkins is the big worry.
Right, because if you don't stop him, then you have to run game.
Right. But let's just talk about our center guard play this year. Primo. La Primavera.
Exactly. Yeah.
Primavera.
I have been, well, first of all, obviously, Torrance coming in and being a rookie and solid, exceeded. But the one I really want to talk about, Connor McGovern, who everybody said.
Called it. I called it.
Okay.
I called
it.
Okay.
What is it?
Go ahead.
That he was going to be good?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, obviously, everybody went into the year being like, he's a pass protect guy. Like, what are they going to do? Are they going to, swap him out with David Edwards? Like, no.
You're not a pass protect guy if you played for Dallas.
That's that's a very good point. And that was the thing, I think, that also kept me on the McGovern train, where it was like, no, why would you do anything? Like, he came from Dallas, the best offensive line in the league.
Right.
And he was a starter on that offensive line. No, it doesn't matter what he did. Yes, and obviously, if you're coming from Dallas, they ran the ball a lot. When Zeke Elliott was Zeke Elliott.
And Pollard.
And Pollard and back.
Right.
So, he knows what he's doing. But, yes, he has been.
And they ran rounds with Turpin.
But he has been, honestly, out of all of them, that the center guard have been.
Yeah, the tackles have been the problem.
Solid. Yes.
But I would also like to give a little bit of praise to Aaron Cromer for knowing he has a problem.
Yes.
Right? At right tackle. And putting they are putting Knox next to him.
Yes.
Right? Spencer Brown.
Being able to run two tight end personnel.
And so they put Knox next to him and he chips. almost every single play. He is chipping on the other guy, on the pass rusher, which gives Spencer Brown enough time to go, I can process this now. And so
I just don't think he's fast enough. I think his biggest problem is when he takes that first step, it's either
too big.
It's either way too wide and he's off base and gets pushed back, or he doesn't take it fast enough. Like he's not
I
back
seriously
there.
think he's so big that guys go underneath his legs. Like when he takes that step, like I mean,
it feels that way.
It feels that way.
Yeah.
Like he's the Jolly Blue Giant, right? Like
yeah, I mean he's 6'8", so of course he's going to have a big stride.
Right. I mean, if you had Zdeno Chara playing your right tackle, you would have a problem.
Right. So and I have noticed that as well. Like you were talking about Knox, but yes, that ability to be personal stuff. First of all, not just to be able to confuse the defense so the defense can go, okay, this is a pass play, this is a run play, which is what happened. But also the ability to block. Because to me, Kincaid is not that bad. He's good enough. He's good enough. He at least moves the guy. And that's what you want. Just move him out of the way. If you can't, like he can't grab.
Let's just continue to talk, right? So the Bills have a running.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
James Cook is third in the league in yards per carry.
Which is nuts.
Right? And he's only third in the league because of what happened last week with Mostert. Mostert's now first. Or no, a chain is now first.
That makes sense.
And then I don't remember.
Probably Mostert.
It's not Mostert. He's second.
McCaffrey, yeah, but
that's who it is. Yeah. He's
speaking of McCaffrey-esque players. It's interesting that the Bills went into the year like James Cook, like Christian McCaffrey, and did. And the Detroit Lions take the highest running back ever drafted, Barry Sanders,
because he's on your fantasy team.
They say we're going to use Gibbs like McCaffrey. We're going to do all this stuff. We're going to line him up in the slot. And what happens? He averages 7 points on my fantasy team. But can I sit him? No, because what happens when they actually get their heads out of their asses and decide to use him like he's supposed to be used?
Well, you can sit him, but do you have the guys on your bench, or did you trade Zach Moss to me?
No, I have it, but it's like
you
got to take the gamble. You know.
Speaking of gamble, do you remember in The Dark Knight when the Joker killed Gamble?
That was a jump. Okay. Yeah.
That was pretty.
Yeah. Okay. Random. Anyway, what were we talking about?
For our viewers.
What were we talking about? We were talking about Miami.
We were talking about killing gambling. Or killing
gambling.
That'll happen. We're talking about repealing the Second Amendment. That's gonna happen. No, it'll happen as soon as gambling gets repealed. Or killed. We were talking about Miami. So Tua's good.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
We're gonna go with that.
Yeah.
He doesn't suck like everyone wanted him to.
Yeah.
He's very good.
Yeah. He's
He gets the ball to his playmakers.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
He can throw deep.
He does what he needs to do.
Right?
He does his job.
He puts the balls.
Yes.
So the guys can cradle them. Right?
Yeah. No. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. He doesn't
balls
suck.
Cradle.
He doesn't suck.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Doesn't suck.
So we're good there.
Yeah, we're good there.
Okay. So Waddle's back this week.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, the biggest thing going into this game, if you're the Bills, is you cannot sit there as the offense or as Sean McDermott and think the way you're going to win this game is by the defense. Now, you're the Bills. You to a certain extent, But you cannot.
I will just give a rebuttal when you are.
You cannot sit there and think that defense is going to be the reason why you win this game. And you cannot rely on them. But with that said, you have to have the expectation that Miami is going to put up points. That's what you have to walk in there. You have to walk in there with the mentality that Miami's going to score. That's going to happen. But you expect your guys to make the plays when they have to when it comes to that. And if the defense, but I think the main thing in this game is going to be the offense. You have to match Miami. You have to match if they're gonna go. They're gonna go.
I keep around the horn.
They're going.
Like
they're going.
Other panelists give when people are talking. That's what I'm doing.
Miami is going to go balls to the wall. To use a type of quote, I guess. Pardon my French or something. Anyway, they're going to go ham, right? They're going to go. This game is going to be bearing in. They are undefeated. They have a chance here to beat you on your home turf. You cannot sit there. You can't sit back
after losing 11 of their last 12 or 10 of their last 12 against the Bills.
Yeah, they're due. That's the problem.
No. Well, let's think about this for a second. They're only due if.
Oops, sorry.
Oh, look who joined!
No.
Gameday Noah joined. No,
my finger hit the touchscreen.
You fingered your screen? Yeah. Okay. So my rebuttal is McDermott called the McDaniel offense revolutionary. Right? And McDermott needs to come up with a revolutionary defense, or does he just need to focus on the fact that here's the stats, right? Here's what they're doing. Here's the stats. Here's what it is on film. It's not revolutionary. They're just running the ball. They're passing the ball.
The only reason it's revolutionary is because of the type of player, the way the players are being used. Because it's like you're not expecting Tyreek Hill to do as much motion as he does. Like that's a running back thing to do. You know what I mean? So it's that. It's not. That's how it's revolutionary. It's because he's using players differently than you normally do, and that's why it's revolutionary. But it's not because it's the same concept.
Right.
It's like I said, it's a type of motion that a running back would do, a type of motion that a tight end would do.
Right.
But instead, you're having your wide receiver one do it, so you're running stuck to the line.
Right.
I think the thing that you got to do is do what you did against the Chiefs. You go.
I'll agree with that.
Because that's how you stop Travis Kelce. That's how you stop Tyreek Hill. The first time you beat the Chiefs at their home, that's how you beat them. You beat the crap out of their wide receivers. That's what the Bills did.
Yeah,
and they got called for it. But the thing is
they were willing to take it.
No, the thing is the thing that they did that was great was even though they kept getting called for the pass interferences and the the illegal contact,
they were willing to take it.
Well, yes, they were willing to take it, but then they adjusted. So it was like, okay, if
but it was to get in their head, right?
Well, okay, but
in the beginning,
the Bills adjusted to the refs, to what the refs were calling with the penalties. So if like a ref was, let's say like Teron was on Travis Kelce, and let's say he put two hands on him, and that's why he got called. The next time he just beat him harder with one hand. It adjusted and didn't get called. That's what the Bills, I think, have to do in this game with the defensive backcourt. You don't give up the big play. You drop your safeties back, but the rest of the DBs they got to beat up the guys. They can't make it easy for them to just go, because that's when problems occur.
Fine, jam at the line. I have a different perspective, though, right? Mostert ran for 200. Chain ran for 200. They both scored 4 touchdowns, which is insane.
Scoring 70 points.
Scoring 70 points. Right. And that's the other thing. I'm going to hit on that. So, and just Dolphins thought, because they seem to think, their fans seem to think they're going to hit 70 every game now. So, and that was all that I was going to say about that, because it's idiot to think that.
Right. It was historic. Like,
right.
Nobody, I mean, they put up the most points in a game.
You know ever. What? They're also praising themselves for not trying to break the record, for taking me instead of trying to break the record. They're praising themselves for taking the knee. And the record was 73.
They got, okay.
They got to 70. They were in field goal range, and they took a knee. So they're praising themselves.
They're just weird.
But right? Anyway,
continue.
I think you focus on stopping one. I don't want to say you let Tua beat, but you focus on stopping the run. And
I think you just got to make the game simple. You can't let them do these stupid concepts. You can't let them get away with this stupid stuff that they're doing, motion and the this.
Well, did you hear what Fangio said about the Bills' offense?
It's a simple concept.
It's very simple and easy to defend.
Okay.
That's what Fangio said.
Wasn't he their defensive coordinator last year?
No.
Wasn't he also the head coach of Denver at one point?
He was the Denver's defensive coach last year.
Oh. Didn't Josh Allen hang 50 on Denver last year?
Something like that.
Yeah.
He was the coach last year he was the defensive coordinator somewhere last year where Josh went nuts. So the Bills have to I won't say that. Okay, because they have reeled him in. This is getting into my annoyance stuff. They have reeled him in. They're not doing the let Josh be Josh, and which fine. If you want Josh to turn into Kirk Cousins, who I don't know, leading the league in passing yards and blah, blah, blah. But their team is also 0-3. If you want Josh to turn into Kirk Cousins, who is maybe a top 10 quarterback, in the top 10, he's 10. Well, here's the 10. Fine. If that's what you're going to do, you're going to pay this guy a gazillion dollars to be Kirk Cousins when you tried to make him Patrick Mahomes. And everyone came into the season still saying it's Mahomes, Burrow, and Josh, right? And that's gone. That's going to go away because of what they're doing with Josh. And fine. If it wins you games, if it scores you points, if it gets you yards, that's fine. I don't like it anyway. I want to see them have fun. I want to see Josh have fun. I want.
Well, less 2 weeks.
He still hasn't had this sparkle in his eyes. Do you know what I mean? He still hasn't. Like, he took a hit last week, right? And after you see him take hits in the past, you see him get up like, no, I'm going to do this, right? He took a hit last week and was just like, he tried to do that artificially. It wasn't real. Like, he tried to be like, this is who I am. I take the hit and I get back up and I'm better after the hit. And it's one of two things, right? It's either like he's older and starting to feel it.
Well, he's also said that.
To a point, he said that, yes. Actually, he has said that. So, yeah, fine. But
it's not that. I know what you're saying. It's not.
It's not.
It's not because you started to feel it.
No, it's up here.
It is up there. I mean, I think. I mean, we haven't had a show for a while, but I think I went on this rant after the Jets game, where it was like, and the Jets game, obviously, he was trying to do too much. I don't know if it was like he couldn't get out of I have to beat Aaron Rodgers mode ever. It was, but one of the things I said was if Josh needs a shrink, get him a shrink. Get him the best one there is. And if there's one on the team already, hire him. Because it's not working. And it isn't, and that's what I've said. And it has been in Josh's head. Now, the offense was clicking.
I think it's
against,
coaching.
I think it's mostly coaching.
I think the coaching has, in the last 3 years, told him to be, each year has told him to be something different.
But every single time, the main thing was rainfall, in my opinion.
Daboll's last year, it was sleet.
Yeah.
Dorsey's first year, it was the Mr. Conservative.
It was slinging in the pocket.
Well, no, Dorsey's first year was don't run.
Yeah.
We're so running. And now that you know not to run, we're not even going to call.
The thing is right. We want Josh. See, the thing is like they took off the superhero cape. That's what they did.
This isn't Old Man Wayne.
Right. This is not. Right? This is the Batman Beyond. Like you're still in that early phase where he's able to jump around and do stuff.
28.
Yeah.
That's not old.
No, I'm not saying he's old by any stretch of the imagination. No, I'm saying he's the young Batman in Batman and Beyond because you brought up Old Man Wayne. He's also in that as Old Man Wayne.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
He's not that. He's
10 years from now, he can be Old Man Wayne.
He can be Ben Roethlisberger. Right. And
right.
Yeah. That's fine. Right. But right now, but here's the thing. Here's the thing I'll say. I agree with you on that. Week 4. Here's the thing I'll say.
That's fair.
Things are different. Things are different than last year, and you have to admit that. And yes, most of James Cook's rushing came after his great week last week. But if you take out the Jets game and you look at the last 2 weeks, they had a rushing game against the Raiders, and they had a rushing game against the Commanders. And it was substantial enough, and that is not something they were able to do at all last year. 2, there is at times, a splash of the creativity that they were talking about leading up in training camp, leading up all the stuff about how they're doing this, they're doing that.
The offense?
Of the offense, yes.
Not of Josh. You're saying of the offense.
Of the offense and the offensive concepts. There is, every once in a while, you get it, where it's like Hardy goes into the backfield and they do the thing, but it's like, and then, WGR brought up about this too, with the push thing that they tried to do last week, where it was like they tried to get him to just jump. And they were like, well, you do that because the one time it works where Josh is looking at the sidelines, confused, and Knox goes there and they get him to jump. No, not what it's for. They had Knox line up there because the one time you need to use it and you hike the ball, you push Knox.
Right.
That's what it's for. It's not to get him to jump.
It's to set it up.
Right. For when you're playing the Chiefs, if you come out of the bye week, you're winning by points, all you need to do is get half a yard on 4th down.
Because we don't have or Jalen Hurts.
Well, and also,
and it only works for Hurts because of Jason Kelce.
Yes.
We'll agree with
that. Yes. Yeah. And it only worked for Brady because he had David Anderson and he also had.
No, I think Brady just knew how to do it because they did not do the butt.
Well, that's true. Right. With Hurts, they do the butt push, and it works. But it works because your center's good enough to snap the ball and get up there fast enough. That's what you need, and Morris is able to do that. But
Morris is not able to get nearly as low.
He's not able to do it for. Well, yes, but he also can't do it for Josh. I think the problem with Josh sneaking it, he's too tall. Because
I agree.
I think he meets the D line too fast for a QB sneak. And I think that's why they've gotten away from that. Because if you remember the times where they did do a QB sneak, they stepped into the end zone because I think that's always different. Because you know where you're going when you're going into the end zone, right? It's like you're just going for it. Just get them into the end zone. It's like just.
But there have been times like their QB sneak, right, for his first couple of years was jump.
Right.
I mean, use your long arm.
The first time he did that was against Dallas.
And 2 out of the 4 times he did it, the other team just went boop, right. And it turned into a fumble.
Yeah.
Right? And you don't want boop.
Right. which is why
you say cradle the ball with 2 hands and
forward.
either fall forward or just your freaking legs and your freaking body, and just push through.
I like the idea better of having knocks of what they did, because
I think they do a standard goal line offense, to be honest, and not try and outsmart people. Davius Murray, Damian Harris. If they put Josh in shotgun,
here's the thing:
if they put Josh
you're
in
not
shotgun,
you're not outsmarting anybody.
That's what I'm saying. Just play a standard offense. Play a standard goal line offense.
Here's the thing. Okay, and they were kind of saying that on WGR too. And here's the thing: I will always say against that is you need these plays. If you are an elite offense, you need these type of plays to be in your playbook to be able to be used, because there is going to come a moment where it does work. And I would rather have it work than the. And yes, everybody knows what's going to happen. Defense knows what's going to happen, but it's still a shock because leading up to it, you haven't had Knox hike the ball. You've only had him snap it, so there is the potential. Oh, is he just trying to get us to jump? And that split-second delay in the defender's mind could be just enough for that split second. When more snaps the ball, and you get whatever you need.
But then that's where you put in
that's where you put in different. Okay, but it's different when
that's where you put Hardy in.
But you do it with Knox because he's bigger. And I know you want to do it with Josh, but again,
I just said I don't want to do it with Josh.
Well, no, you were saying the typical goal line offense, do it that way. I don't think you want to do it that way, because even though it's not outsmarting them, there's enough of a chance where that happens, where it works. Where I think if you're an elite offense, you have to have those type of plays. For Kansas City, it's the shovel pass. Mm-hmm. Nobody else does the shovel pass better than Patrick Mahomes.
Right.
And for
to Mahomes,
the Eagles.
Let's hold on, because there is a constant, okay, about these things that work for certain teams, right? San Francisco does it with McCaffrey and Samuel, right? They have their special plays. Kansas City does it with Kelsey.
I was going to go to Philly next.
Philly, yeah. Philly does it with Hurts,
right?
And Kelsey,
yeah.
Right? So these are all pros.
I understand.
Okay, all of these players that you're doing it with are all pros. You don't see the Raiders doing it. You see the Raiders line up and go, "We're giving it to Jacob."
Yes.
Right? And to your point, everyone knows what's going to happen.
Right.
It's, can our guys beat your guys? Right?
Yeah.
So the Bills need to be one of those teams, in my opinion.
Okay.
It's, can our guys beat your guys? And if they can't, then we have a problem. The Eagles only do it because Kelsey can literally get so low before he's going to snap the ball. His head is about 2 inches from the field. So he is lower than anyone else, and he knows exactly when the ball is going to get snapped. So when he and Jalen Hurts can squat 100 pounds. So his legs are ridiculously strong. So between that and the 3 guys pushing behind Hurts and Kelsey being lower than anyone across the league, any other center, because he's shorter than most centers as well across the league, that's why it works for the Eagles. Right. It worked for Brady because Brady just knew what to do for some reason. He knew whether to go left. He knew whether to go right. He knew exactly how the defense lined up. Tom Brady, greatest quarterback in the history of the NFL, period. I don't want the arguments about anyone else. That's who Brady is. Done. And so he just knew how to do the sneak. And then, like I said, San Francisco, they'll split out Samuel and then have him run a sweep. They'll put McCaffrey in and have him jump over. He's a friggin' pole vaulter. Or, well, I guess he would have to have a pole then. But you know what I mean. And I guess when you have Josh, my play for Josh to get short yards is him being in shotgun. Yeah, that's the play.
Yeah.
Honestly. And if it's what's gonna happen and you see them lined up over there, then you have Knox and Kincaid on the same side or something like that. And
or
if they're gonna
blitz,
blitz,
an RPO with
right,
a quarterback
with
option.
Right. You have Cook lined up next to him and you determine whether you're gonna have Cook chip, right? Or you're gonna hand off to Cook and Cook will just outrun guys.
Right.
I mean, those are the things that is your goal line offense. It's a multitude of plays. It's not just the play.
Well, yeah, I know that. I just meant like when you were talking about like Murray or Harris. Like I like where their heads at with that to me, because it's like that. Yes, Josh doesn't have the guy besides Diggs where you're going to do that. But you're not going to do that with Diggs because Diggs. To me,
I don't know. Davis is a touchdown scorer. You get the ball in Davis.
I mean, like the short, like the stuff that like the 49ers do with like you're not going to do that type of stuff with Diggs.
I don't think you do that with Diggs because he doesn't do a run after. I mean, he's not a run after the catch kind of player.
Yeah,
so he's not an open field kind of guy. He's I catch, I go down.
Yeah, unless he thinks he can.
But even then, it's like he gets 5 extra yards, 10 extra yards, something like that. He doesn't. His home run ball when Josh throws the deep head.
Yeah,
that's how he gets the deep yardage. His deep yards do not come from.
Right. He's an excellent route runner. He'll just get open, be like, pass me the ball in space, and then I'll just go down and we'll go on to the next play. But going back to just finish the conversation, and I'll just wrap up with the final thing. I just like where their heads are at with that. It's like even though you don't have that star guy, you don't have that certain things that the other teams do that do the special types of plays. It's like it's going to work because the first thing I thought of when we did that was Philly special. Was Josh is going to start walking towards the sidelines, and then all of a sudden the ball's going to be snapped, and Knox is going to take it and throw it to him.
Mm-hmm.
That's also
it is.
He also had Harris and Cook lined up on either side of him.
It was Harris and Murray on both sides.
You could also not ever send Knox there, have Josh pretend he has no idea what's going on, and then all of a sudden turn to the center and go like this and snap the ball. So because it's like there are so many. If they keep going, if they keep opening up with the creativity and trusting that process, which is something that seems to be forgotten in that building nowadays, where it's like to a certain extent.
I just don't think it's something to talk about. I don't think.
Right. Just to finish, if they trusted that process of opening up the creativity, there are so many things in one thing, and that's what I want. And sure, you know what? I don't like that they've reined Josh in, and you kind of taken off the superhero cape. But games like this Sunday, I think you're going to see Josh be special, and that's the thing about Josh to me. Is even though he'll have the bad games, and I'm going to take the Jets game out of it because we're just going to go with it. It was Monday Night Football, 9/11. You're in New York City. You're playing against Aaron Rodgers, and he gets hurt on the first play, and all of a sudden everything changes. Yeah. Everything's different, and as much as football players want to sit there and say that doesn't affect us, it does because it affects every single team. I mean, think about it when Mahomes goes down. When Mahomes went down last year and they put in Moore, or whoever their backup was, that old guy, the offense changed completely. You didn't have a threat as a runner QB. You didn't have a deep ball. You didn't have anything. So it was these quick short passes, and they just moved the ball down the field, and they won the game. So sure, that might have not affected the Chiefs that much, but anyway. They're the Chiefs. They won 2 rings. I think that's different. They're on a different level than everybody else.
Mm-hmm.
But, so I'm going to take the Jets game out. But if you look at the Raiders game, and you look at the Commanders game, he did what needed to be done.
And that's what I'm saying. It annoys me that it works
because you want to see Josh be awesome.
I do.
Yeah, and I do too.
But the other thought, this goes back to Bean again for me. Why did you pay him that much if you're just going to ask him to be?
Because
you're not going to ask him to be Hurts.
Because that goes back to what I said is I don't think as much as they've reined him in, as much as they've told him not to do this, the end of the day, he still plays like Josh Allen. He's still trying. I mean, he still tried to jump over a guy in the Commanders game
that was weird.
when they were up 20 points, and he still tried to jump a guy. Like, he's still going to do that stuff. It's just not going to be every single play, which I think for the longevity, I think that they want to go with that. And to us, that's bad because we want a ring. But I do think that
I'll agree with that. I'll agree that they're stupidly thinking about the length of Josh's career.
Yes.
And that's a problem.
It is a problem. Yeah.
Because you need to think about winning a ring. Because you don't hear being talked about this year. You don't have a motto this year, right? Have you heard a motto?
No. Well, yeah, no.
I mean, like something they all walk around and say, like, like trust the process or
don't blink, burn it all.
Right. Yeah, no, any of that
here's
stuff.
The thing.
You haven't heard it. And I think after the Bengals game, McDermott went in and did some serious self-reflection on what's been going on and said, we've been screwing around too much.
Yes.
And I don't mean like with game planning and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
I mean like with the actual like locker room. Yeah. Like we've been having too much fun. You know what I mean?
I think that was true. I think last year, everybody being like the Bills are going to go to the Super Bowl, got to them. Mm-hmm. And it got to them not in a way like, oh, we're scared. It got to them, they're like, oh, we can beat anybody.
Right.
It doesn't matter.
Right. Then Hamlin happens.
Well, and then
we can go through the whole
against
season.
The Jags. Right.
We can go through the whole season, right? There's the snowstorms, there's this, there's that. Then Hamlin happens. Then you have to go play the same team.
Micah goes out for the year.
Micah goes down. Yeah, right. And then you have to go play the same team in the playoffs where Hamlin happened. And nobody gives that theory enough respect. But that is my theory of what happened in the Bengals game. They just had, I don't want to say they had a Hamlin hangover because they beat New England.
Miami.
The week before.
And even in that game. I mean, that game was 17-0 at one point, and they won 34-31 on a comeback.
Right.
So you saw the chinks in the armor.
Right. And I don't think it was hangover is not the right word. It's not,
yeah.
But it was like, oh my gosh, the Bengals were again.
What if it happened to somebody else? I think that
it was just like PTSD.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, and it was like getting punched in the face because they were just, I mean, we were sitting there going, look at their body language.
Yeah, because it was Milano was even having his head hang. And it's like you never see that even when they're losing. Like Milano against the Jets, when they, when it seemed like the tides were kind of turning in the Jets, you still had Matt Milano flying. Right. And you did not have that in that game.
They were all.
It wasn't even that they were flat. It's like they didn't practice. They looked like they were done.
After the first quarter. I mean, I don't know if you remember, but I turned. I'm like, I don't know how they're going to win this.
Yeah. We were saying that almost right away.
Right.
We were like, oh, no.
Right
away. And so was everyone else.
Yeah.
Because the stadium got quiet fast.
And so that's what I think happened. They just had some kind of Hamlin.
Because even we were like,
mm-hmm.
And that's the way I felt for the home opener. Because I'm walking around with Jack. I'm like, sure, I had been whatever, maybe that, but I was like walking around and was like, it's not that quiet, it's not that loud. Like there's nobody screaming about something. There's no cars honking. I'm like, everybody's being nice to each other.
Right.
I'm like, this is weird. And it's like, and I'm not saying like tailgating is an awesome experience, but generally it's like everybody's trying to get there. Like everybody was just like, hi and today. Like if we'll get to the spot when we get to the spot. You know, like if we don't tailgate this time and we just get up there for the game, like maybe that's okay. You know, like I don't know how long we're gonna be here even. So you know, if we all don't get demolished, you know, I can drive us all home. You know, like it kind of felt like everybody was like, you still had the loud music, you still had people being excited, but it was like nobody was like, yeah, we're gonna do this. Like there was never that. There was never that until was back to being this loud voice. But it was like this sense of like weird calmness, and it was off-putting. And that's the way it was against the Bengals game. Where it was like,
yes,
nice, but it was like nobody wanted to talk about it.
Right.
Like, nobody wanted to say anything.
Right. Then they
we can do this.
They show Hamlin in a box.
We can do this. We can do this for sure. We can definitely do this. What do you mean? Like,
well, and that was the other thing. Hamlin being there may have screwed with them as well. Like I don't know if that was the right decision. And
I don't know. Last year was a mess.
Last year was a mess, and we've moved on. So,
but
we do have another team in Buffalo.
Oh, okay.
What did you want to talk about?
Or do you just want to Miami conversation? Do we want to do like predictions?
Prediction? Sure. Go ahead.
Well,
Miami prediction.
Hold on. I want to talk about one more thing.
Go ahead.
And I think we talked about this, but we're both in the same boat on it. Is I'm not nervous. You know, I'm nervous in the sense that I'm a fan. I don't want to see them lose, but that's it. It's like I don't want to see them lose, but if they do, it's okay. And you know what? This is a message, honestly, for everybody who's been fan. I think,
and a Miami fan,
and a Miami fan too, because this is just a good message for a Week 4 game.
That's week the 4. Number.
Week 4. There are 13 more games after this one, and yes, they have the Chiefs coming up, but that's also after a bye. And if you look at the rest of the Bills' schedule, they don't have another game against like a top tier team where they don't have a long break.
Okay.
Because
this is all you have to say. It's week 4. The Bills are a top team.
Right.
The worst they can, and we talked about this a little bit, the worst they can be is 2-2 and 2 games behind Miami. But the division, to me, the division doesn't matter. Right? Playing at home in the playoffs, don't care. Get in the playoffs.
And anything can happen.
And get through the playoffs. And then go win the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And you're fine.
But it doesn't matter what seed. Right. Like home field advantage is nice, and we obviously want the home field advantage for the home playoff game. But it's like at the same time, it doesn't matter.
Right.
Doesn't matter. This is week 4, and you know what? Yeah, this is for Miami fans too. If they end up losing, it's week 4 for you guys too. You can still win the division.
They're still 3-1. They're a game ahead of
3-1. Right. They'll still be in first place. I think.
Yes.
No, they wouldn't, because it would be.
We beat them head to head.
3-1. We beat them head to head. Yeah, so they'd be second in the division. New England's not going to do that. You know, the Jets are the Jets. Every year.
And the thing about
it's week 4.
The Bills get throttled,
and that's a problem.
Actually, it's not.
Well,
it depends on how it happens.
If the Dolphins put up 70 points again, then that's a problem.
It's not. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. It doesn't happen. You know it. What did Miami have before that? They had 24 and
24, 34, and I think something. So
well, no, there's only been 3 games. So
24, 34, and something else on the.
No, I'm saying on offense.
Oh,
their points going into the time they scored 7.
Yeah,
they put up. They've scored the Bills.
Yeah, they beat the Chargers 36-34, and then they put up 24 points against the Patriots. And I think if you're the Bills, you should just
follow the
be
Patriots and say our offense is
24
better.
points. Yep. Right. You should say exactly. You should be like, our offense can put up 25. That's
right.
it. You can hold them to 24, and I don't care how they win. If I want them to win, but if they don't, that's okay.
Because you don't want
right. Which in years past
has been their problem.
Because
that's Miami's problem this year.
Yep.
That's Miami's problem this year. Is their fans are super hyper in the beginning of the year, and the team is super hyper and feeling what it's like to be Bills over the last couple of years, right? And Miami's going to peak too early. They kind of peaked too early last year, right? Didn't they end on a 6-game losing streak or something?
Right.
8 games? I don't know.
Yeah, they missed the playoffs, I think, because the Steelers lost.
Right.
So.
Hockey or fantasy?
Okay.
Hockey. Okay. Sabres are going to be good.
Yes. Hop on the bandwagon now. There's room for all. It's all the way in the back, but there's a lot of people riding on this train. I think the whole city of Buffalo are behind this guy.
Levi's legit. Henry looks like a legit backup. UPL has still been up and down, but that's what UPL is. They may try to trade him. They won't get him through waivers down in Rochester.
I don't think they'll get Henry through waivers.
Not with the way he's been playing in preseason. But I think he's not on a two-way contract.
Team like Arizona, maybe, or Winnipeg,
or Montreal. I mean, there's a different teams. So, I mean, Montreal just traded what's his face to wherever, and that's the kind of knowledge I have. But they're gonna be good.
Yeah, I think so. Because it's they won the first 2 games of the preseason and then have not won. Mm-hmm. But here's the thing I'll say is they did not play an NHL roster remotely.
And they're not playing a full roster.
And they're not playing a full roster either. But the 2 times, the 3 last games, they faced basically the NHL roster and have lost by, I believe they lost by 2 goals against Pittsburgh. They lost by 1, I think, against the Bruins, and they came from behind today after being down 3-0 to win 3, including a goal from Zachariah Benson. But the guys who scored were all their NHL guys, except for Benson.
Who will be most likely
who's probably going to be up here because he played on the top line again with Tage and Skinner. And holy cow! First of all, Benson is so fast. He's tiny and can just
tank, and he's fun.
Yeah, and
for his size, he looks like
he doesn't get moved off the puck very easily. Just very surprising. I'm pretty sure he's 5'8". So
and 165 pounds.
Yeah. But the goal he had.
So Tage is like a foot.
Yeah. Tage is tall.
Tage is tall.
Yeah. So it was the thing that needed to go right made sense. Even the game that UPL had, that entire defense was AHL guys.
Yeah.
And it's what did you expect?
Fair.
You know what I mean? Okay, whatever. I think that was the game against Pittsburgh, and they lost by 2 goals, which was an empty netter. So I think it was the Pittsburgh.
I don't know.
No, I think it was the game against Boston, and that's the worst loss. But that game wasn't even bad.
So anyway, the Sabres have.
Yeah.
We talked a lot when we were doing shows. Back when we were doing shows, we talked a lot about them needing goalie, and it doesn't seem like we feel that way anymore.
Obviously, if they were to make a trade for a goalie like Gibson or the guy in Winnipeg, I can think of, Hellebuck, that would be fantastic. But I think Levi is legit because watching him today, you're right. You remember when we had the conversation about Levi, and I was like, his rebound control is weird, and he does weird stuff. It's because we haven't seen a really good goalie play. Right. And I was watching him, and I was
who could take the angles and be super athletic, and
he lets up rebounds, but every single time, well, not even just that, he makes sure like it goes way over there, or it goes way over there. Like it's never directly in front of him. It's never right there. Every single time he moves, like he deflects it with his blocker, and then he'll be right there waiting for whatever. Right, he knows exactly where it's going. He knows exactly what the puck's going to do, and we have not had that. And that should get people very excited because he could explode. I mean, he could be one of those young rookie goalies who comes in and wins the award.
Carey Price,
or even Ryan Miller. I mean, to me, he does remind me of Miller, young Miller. That athleticism, that ability to move, that like where it was like, I mean, his
Miller was. I'm sorry.
Well, I was just gonna say, like, Miller's Vezina season was just like so good, and it was like, but it was like the thing with Miller is it was the rebound. It would always seem to be he knew where the puck was coming from, and he knew where the puck was going to go.
And that's because he was a tactician. Yeah. And Levi's not a tactician; he's a Jedi, right?
He's athletic.
He's more, and that's why he reminds me more of Hashtag.
Yeah,
right.
He's a combination of both. Very interesting.
Yeah. Because I mean, Hashtag had that athleticism.
Well, yeah.
Hashtag had that intrinsic knowledge of where the puck would be.
Yeah.
Right. And Miller didn't seem to have that as much as just here's where I should be right now.
Yeah. Yeah, Levi, that's right. Yeah. So that is definitely the difference. Yeah, you're right. I completely agree with that. Levi's not a tactician. Like, he's not like, okay, I have to line up like this. I have to be like this. This is the butterfly. This is like, he's like, whatever I need to do to make the save, I'm going to do. And that's Hasek, right? 100%, which is amazing. And you see that in Levi all the time. But that other thing with Levi, it's like, maybe he doesn't know where he has that Miller ability, where it's like, if I line up right here, I'm good. And he has that knowledge. He just needs to take next
and being young, right? It goes back to almost John's conversation. Being young, he can spring up from making a crazy save and be in the right position.
Right.
Yeah. To be ready for the next shot.
He fully extended in the splits today, and then popped his legs right back together and was there to just not even let anything. And it's like, yeah, like what you said. We had this conversation with Eden. If you've not seen him go play, and if you watch him play, he's as good as advertised. And I think they're going to shock some people. I think so too. I think they're going to do better than people think.
A lot of people are projecting them to miss the playoffs. A lot of the projections I've seen have been between 82 to 87 points. They will exceed that by a lot.
So I think they'll get over 100 points.
Wow.
I do. And I think they'll win more.
Well, I guess if I said they're going to exceed 87 by a lot.
I think they'll get over 100 points, and I also think that they'll have more than they got to 42 wins last year. I think they'll have 45. And I think they'll I'm not generally, I think, hyped to be like full-throated. Like I feel like I'm always kind of like,
I don't know what that means.
Well, no,
full-throated,
like full-throated support. Like this is going to happen. You know what I mean? Like even like when it comes to the Bills, like I'm always like, maybe. But I think when it comes to this Sabres team, Everything is there.
Mm-hmm.
It just needs to come together.
And people are even saying like defense is problem.
I don't think it is as much of a problem as people think it is.
I was talking with someone on Twitter who was talking about the defense being a problem. And I said, okay, right now, because the Sabres like Bryson, they're 9 deep on defense. And the guy goes, well, 4 of them aren't really that good. And he goes, right, which is fine, and so I said, so you have 5 who are in a good spot,
right.
And you 6? Only play 6,
right?
That means you're ahead of most teams.
Yeah,
right.
You're right. I mean, that's exactly what I mean. That's an excellent point too. They have it.
If your 6th guy has to be Cal Clegg, or who is fine,
who is perfectly fine. He's a top
fine.
6 guy on your last line. He is more than fine. You're ahead on most teams having Cal Clegg as your 6th defense. Like, that's the thing that people don't seem to. That's the thing that people don't seem to get. It's like when you look at teams like Tampa Bay, when you look at teams like Austin, they have 2 lines on offense. They have 1 line, 1.5 on defense. Right? That's the way most of these teams are built.
Well, they have their superstar top line, which the Sabres now have.
And then they have the second line, which is Dylan Cousinses of the world. And then you have, and then the rest is just role players. But the thing with the Sabres,
you have your defensive
right, which the Sabres have on line 4.
Right.
And then their third line is going to probably
It'll be a mix of guys.
Right. But the thing with the Sabres, they have more guys that can play all over the place on defense and on offense than any other team in the league. And that's the thing, is they have it feels like they have every single piece. Like, sure, maybe you want to add like a Pasternak, but it's like, do you? You know what I mean?
Or would you rather
that's
these bulldog kids,
right?
Like Cousins, right? I mean, you have to lock in Darlene. You have to lock in
what they're gonna do,
and they're gonna do it.
Yeah.
Eventually, they'll have to lock in Levi, but that's way down.
That's way down.
Middlestat will probably come to a 3-year deal or something.
Or maybe he wants another 1-year bridge, depending on how. I mean, if he has another year like he did last year, then obviously he'll get money. But maybe
I bet he gets paid 5 or 6.
5, yeah, that's
6 probably.
Yeah, he's a top.
If you look at his stats, I mean, when he was centering the top line, he was incredible. When Tage was out.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, he was. I mean, they played him on the top line all the time
between Tuck and Skinner, and Tage was out. He was, and then they were like, when Tage came back, they were like, you know what, Tage, you're gonna center the second line now.
Yeah, which was good, Tage. But
no, it was good for everybody. It was good for Middlestat. Yeah. He just destroyed everything. I mean, he was passing to everybody, and like it just. Yeah, but back to the defense. When you have Eric Johnson,
right,
and you have Ryan Johnson
and Connor Clifton.
Connor Clifton is going to be a top 4, or Eric Johnson's going to be a top 4, or your 5th.
But
Clifton won't be here. But your 5th will be, if your 5th and 6th are Johnson and Yoki.
Okay.
Right. Or
like if you're taking think about last year,
and Clegg.
They didn't have the right defenseman, like right-handed shot.
Now they have
so Joker and Johnson, and Joker Yoki Haru was playing top 4, top 2 minutes. No, he's a righty. I'm pretty sure Eric Johnson's a righty. Ryan Johnson, the young kid, is left. The one from Michigan, Eric Johnson.
Shoots right. Right here.
Oh yeah. So right, you have You had Joker playing top 4, top 2 minutes, right?
Not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen. He was a defensive liability playing out of.
But he's not going to be as your third line defenseman.
That goes back to what I was saying. It's like everything has fallen into place.
Mm-hmm.
Now the players just have to come together, and they just have to go out and win, and that's it.
And like I said, like I was saying, like Ryan Johnson is a very pleasant surprise.
Yeah,
he looks NHL ready.
Yeah.
So I mean, you're gonna have guys. Oklahoma's rolling Iowa State, huh? You're gonna have guys who.
I mean, if you could make a trade at the trade deadline and get rid of maybe like Eric Johnson and you could make some package deal with some picks and send off maybe a guy like Eric Johnson. And I know that, but I'm just saying, like hypothetically, you could make a trade where you could send out defensemen, get a really good offensive player back, and still be okay on defense because of the depth that you have.
Here's the thing. Middle of the season, you're getting a really good offensive player back.
Right. Yeah, the trade deadline. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, he's already on your team.
Oh, Jack Quinn.
Right.
Yeah,
you're getting a top 6 forward.
Yeah, you just got to make it to December.
Right.
Yeah.
So by mid-January, you're knocking guys around because you have to fit in Quinn. And you have to do nothing. You don't have to trade anything. You don't have to do anything.
That's true.
And I mean, if the Zegras rumors are true, bring him in and figure it out. And then,
right. I mean, if you end up getting Zegras, and him and yeah, you make it work. Like, you figure it out.
Mm-hmm.
Like maybe you have 4 guys that play on line 2, and you just keep doing the swapping thing.
Mm-hmm.
And Granato has said that. Adams has said that they specifically look for guys who can play more than one role.
Mm-hmm.
Now the 4th line's different because that's your defensive line.
Right.
But those guys can play on like they have Gergensons on the power play.
Right, now for the preseason, yeah.
Well, but even last year,
get him the experience.
Well, not even just
not to get him the experience.
Well,
but
but it's
like
you have that ability to do that with Gergensons.
With these guys.
Well, you have that ability to do that with Gergensons, where it's like, okay, maybe he doesn't do something offensively, like a distributor, but he just goes and stands in front of the net, or he wins the face-off.
Gergensen, out of all the players, is their Swiss Army knife.
Right.
He can play center. He can play either wing side. He can play offense. He can play defense.
Yeah.
You can ask him to be a checker, or you can ask him to fly down the ice.
Yeah, which is awesome. But it's like everyone can do that now.
Has some piece.
Has something.
It's like not a Swiss Army knife, like a Norwegian.
Yeah, and it's not like he is a 2-way player on that roster. But it's like Jeff now can do enough defensively where maybe he can poke check at the exact right time, kind of standing back while Tage is getting mixed up in there. Mm-hmm. Poke check it and get the fuck out. And it's like everybody knows their role, everybody knows what to do, but it's like they all know each other enough where it's like they all have that second sense with each other, but it's like all of them have it.
Right.
They all have a hockey IQ. They all know what to do. And Granato, I think, is a lot better coach than people think.
I think Adams has done a really good job of bringing in the right guys.
Yes, absolutely.
He's brought in guys who Granato coached before, who they respect, who Granato knows what their talents are, because he's coached them before.
Right.
And that allows him to spread that respect throughout the room. Because those guys already knew him and knew what he can do.
And have that respect for him.
There's another player rumored to be coming here. Who's from here.
Oh, Pat Kane.
Yeah,
they have a lot of interest. Drager doubled down on Sabres Live or whatever it is, saying that that he is 100% confident that the Sabres are very, very involved. But Pat Kane is also rehabbing.
Yes.
So
if he continues rehabbing in Buffalo,
really been going very, very well, and he's skating. He's doing.
He's very close. He's Von Miller close.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. He
may be in here playing by December.
Yeah.
Or earlier.
Yeah.
I mean, people have been saying that Kane is ready.
Yeah.
And he can start day one.
Yeah.
I mean, imagine having Patrick Kane on your third line.
Yeah, it would be great.
And that's all you're asking him to do. You're not asking him to be Patrick Kane from 5 years ago.
Right. You're asking him to just score 20 goals.
And he is a leader.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of people in Buffalo don't believe
he's also adjusted his game too to be more of a distributor.
Yes. And that's what I was going to say. He's an assist guy now.
Mm-hmm.
He also wants to break all of these U.S. records.
Mm-hmm.
And he's very close to doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's got to have that drive in him. I don't mean he has to. I mean, he does have that drive in him to break all these records because he's so close.
And imagine doing it in Buffalo, in his hometown,
right,
in front of the hometown fans,
right.
And you know that this team is most likely going to make the playoffs,
and that you can be an addition, right?
Right.
You can be that Von Miller that the Bills were hoping Von Miller would be,
right? You could be the final. You could be the glue on the puzzle that keeps them all together,
right?
Because you're Patrick Kane. You've been there before. You have 3 rings.
Right.
You've been a part of teams that you can
take shootouts
the first time.
Imagine knowing that Patrick Kane there to take shootouts.
Yeah, I would send him third every single time.
Right?
Yeah.
And Quinn is great at shootout. I mean, again, you might get these guys back in 2 months of each other.
Yeah.
You know, to add Kane and then add Quinn.
That'd be great.
And then
I do think
it's just crazy
that I would assume obviously the holdup is the injury.
First boy?
I do think he's going to come here.
And maybe just be waiting to see him be healthy.
I think that's it. And I think that's what all the teams are doing.
They're saying, can you make the physical?
Yeah.
And he's maybe I'm close.
And they're like, well, if we're going to spend the money, we prefer you pass it. So call us when that happens.
He'll know. They'll know. I mean, he has to sign somewhere else.
Right. I think, yes. I think it's because he needs to pass that physical, but I do think he's coming here.
Now I'm going to throw out a third scenario. Okay. You sign Kane.
Okay.
You're getting Quinn back. And the Zagros room.
Yeah.
Zagros, Tage,
yep.
And whoever you want at right wing.
Okay.
Second line.
Mm-hmm.
Skinner. Tuck at the other side. Cousins in the middle.
Yeah.
Right? Third line.
Yeah.
Right? Kane.
Yeah.
Middle stat, probably.
Yeah. Somebody.
No. Quinn.
Oh, yeah. Right.
Fourth line. Paterka.
Yeah.
Is a fourth line player now. Paterka, Gergensen, Akpoto.
Yeah.
And then your extra player is Jost.
Yeah.
I'm probably forgetting someone. Is Jost and Greenway. They're going to play Greenway somewhere. Yeah, they're in love with that guy. But
forcing him.
They really
he's the square and the square.
And
he's a round peg in the square hole. But it's not, but it's also like, it's not that he doesn't fit. It's just that they keep wanting him to do things that he doesn't fit into. And it's like, stop it.
Just use him.
He's a bottom 6 guy.
Use him for the talents he has. Don't try to force
Stop trying to force him to play with Tage. It's not going to work.
Just because they're both
right. Just because they're both like power forward-esque doesn't mean that that's going to work. He's not Chris Kreider. Stop it. But
did you see Minnesota extended both Zuccarello and Foligno?
Oh, good.
Foligno got $4 million for 4 years. That's a lot for someone that age.
Yeah, he's like
39.
Yeah,
I don't know. He's not. We just know
in his 30s. There's no way. Dad.
26. Yeah. He's 30. Oh, no. He was plus 32. And they gave him. Yeah. That's what Minnesota does. They're stupid.
What Minnesota does. But, yeah.
Wearing gets or whatever. I don't know. Anyway.
It's because, like,
so imagine all that happening.
Okay.
Just imagine all that happening. And okay, so to get Zagras, you have to give up
Olafson.
Oh, jeez, we didn't even put Olafson.
Oh, I assumed he was a part of the deal. That's why.
Right.
Well, yeah, you have a lot. You have, if you,
and Olafson's not a Swiss Army knife.
The Zegras rumors aren't true, and you still have all that. And even if the Kane rumors aren't true, or you don't get Kane, and you
still have who you have.
You still have Cole coming back. You still have the guys.
And the thing I have read over and over again about Olafson saying, I know I have to be a better two-way player.
Yes.
He has been saying, he has said, I have worked all summer on my defense. He's like, I'm getting back.
Omri was so committed to being better than he was last year. He ice rink hard because he said that he didn't do ice stuff until like a month before training camp.
I remember that.
And he was like, and for this one, he was like, I'm not doing it. We're doing ice stuff right away. And he said his whole off-season was spent on that, doing drills on the ice. So he's even more.
Sabres everybody's more fun. Agreed. Even if the Bills break our hearts this year, the Sabres are going to be fun. We're going to have at least.
I don't think the Bills are going to break our hearts. The Bills are going to make the playoffs, but there are going to be tough games. They might lose this week, and if they lose this week, it's going to suck. But it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things because if you look at they're still a good team no matter what happens.
7 teams. Okay, they are a 95% luck to make the playoffs. That's all that matters to me.
Yeah.
Get in the playoffs and then win. Winning. And it's no one talks about the Bills anymore. Right? Unless it's negative. Like Around the Horn on Friday was incredibly negative about the Bills.
Yeah. The NFL Network people who used to love the Bills, nope, not anymore. They have moved on. I mean, Kyle Brandt still loves the Bills, but everybody else. Kay Adams has moved on.
I will say he gives loves to the Bills, but he does have feelers out to other teams over like who will grab him. And what I've heard him say, like, I will always love Buffalo, not I love Buffalo.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yep. He's never coming back.
I will always have that relationship with the Bills.
Yeah, because he came to the game.
I'm part of Bills Mafia. Yeah. I love, but you don't hear like.
Yeah, he doesn't do what
he doesn't do. He doesn't do Kyle Brandt. And I mean, to me, that's when you finally get the us against the world thing as being legitimate.
Versus everybody.
Right? And so I think going again back to where we were, that with them not being as foolish in the locker room, and that's why Isaiah McKenzie was gone.
Yep.
Because he was the top of that list, right?
Mm-hmm.
And he's doing it in Indy.
Mm-hmm. But they can do that. Well, but also it's like,
right?
Who cares?
Yep. But now they're all serious, and I think once they make, I like that side too. Once they make the playoffs, they may do this. I think McDermott, again, going back to peaking at the right time, keeping them down on purpose.
And that's what I also think about the playbook because as we said earlier, when we were talking about the offense, you see it. The Knox thing that we debated.
Setting stuff up.
But Hardy running in motion, Gabe Davis going in motion. You have two tight end sets, but they're doing different things with that. They having them line up on the same side, or they're doing this, or they're doing that. And it's like the creativity's there, but it hasn't been there because what did they do? Again, this is the thing I keep saying. That's why I'm saying it's week 4. Wait, have some patience, and that's very hard for us as Bills fans because we want to win. We want to win all the time, and we expect it now. But wait, just wait, because I think there's gonna. I think it's gonna be the Chiefs game, because that's right after a bye week. That game
coming out party.
That's week 12 or 13, I believe.
13.
If they can have less than 4 losses going into that, and they can win at the Chiefs and then go on a run, because at the Chiefs game it's their coming out party and being like, yeah, we're the Bills. This is how we play.
Right. Yeah, I'm good with that.
Because the season.
I don't care if they have 7 losses at that point. I know. But I don't care if I'm just saying, if they have 7 losses at that point, come out, drill the Chiefs, and then run the table for the rest of the season, right?
Mm-hmm.
They're going to make the playoffs with 11 wins. And that's all we've talked about.
Right.
If you get in as the 7th seed, then you get in as the 7th seed.
Yep.
You really need 10.
Yeah.
You need 10 wins
100%.
now. And so if they get to 11, which is really all I care about, is getting to 11. It doesn't matter if you have 13 or 14 or whatever. Mm-hmm. You can lose a few.
Mm-hmm.
Let's get to 11.
Because if you think about it, right, and let's say it's week 13.
Let's get serious, and then let's roll.
Right. So let's say I think it is week 13. 5 games. Mm-hmm. And then let's say they make it to the 7th seed. It's 4 games.
Mm-hmm.
That's 9 games. That's half the season.
Right.
So for the first half of the season, and I agree with you, I think they're doing this on purpose. I want to believe that they're doing this on purpose.
Yeah.
Right? Because it's like they talked about all this creativity. They talked about all this stuff. They talked about passing 50 times a game, blah, 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 blah. All this stuff, and it's like,
and then they talked about integrating the run, and then they've talked
and it's
about
like we've seen them integrate the run, but
using
we
the
haven't
12
really
package
seen much else.
And
it's like, and I
they're
agree
like,
with you.
We're going to break out Kincaid, and they haven't broken out Kincaid.
Yeah, you know, and that might be on rookie struggles, but I think that they're. And we were just complaining about them trying to hurt everybody. But it's like, I think that's what they're doing. And you know who else does that? The Chiefs. The Chiefs have just had ridiculously easy games to play against. The Bears, and then, yes, they lost to the Lions.
I feel like maybe McDermott coaching the defense, it excited him.
Yeah.
It opened some of his creativity modules, even as a head coach.
Yes.
And allowed him to see things as a different perspective as a head coach, even.
He is a great head coach, but he did not get the Hall of Fame level, in my opinion. And I think he's going to be inducted. No doubt about it.
He's Hall of Fame
easily. But I think that before he went to Kansas City, you could sit there with his Eagles resume and be like,
pretty good.
It's pretty good, but is it Hall of Fame work? No,
no.
In my opinion, it was not. But then he got to Mahomes, and Mahomes gives you this ability to do a zillion things. And I think
you have to give him credit for Mahomes.
Well, absolutely, yes. I mean, he created Mahomes, in my opinion. But I also think that the ability to have a player like Mahomes brought Reed up to that next level. I think McDermott running the defense, something clicked in his head. It was about being a head coach. Because you heard all this chatter right when it started, right when OTAs were there, right? All OTAs were a mess, right? You heard the chatter. It never seemed to be with the offense. And then that chatter Went away.
Mm-hmm.
You never heard about it in training camp, about it in anything else. Preseason, nothing.
Right.
So I like that. I like that analysis, and I agree with that. I think, yeah, and I think it taught him something about being a head coach. I think the best is yet to come. Week 4. Wait. That's the model right now for Bills.
Wait.
Just wait. Josh has not had a game, and yes, again, it's week 4, but Josh has not had a game where he put on the superhero game. And
does it 3 plays a game.
Right.
So that means that's showing that he still has it, which is the most important part.
And again, bringing it full circle, that goes back to the whole conversation about the offense. Some flashes of this stuff that they have consistently talked about. And all during the offseason too. Even though there was the creativity and it was like they're doing different things. That's the thing. That was the thing. Mm-hmm. Was throughout it all was that consistency was Josh is still Josh. We haven't seen Josh be Josh. So that's what I'm saying. I agree with you. I think McDermott's
in both the good way and the bad way. Well, we have seen Josh be Josh in the bad way.
But it was true rush to Josh.
Against
right, it was against the Jets, who I guess are his Achilles heel. But that's fine. Everybody has a team. Whatever.
Their defense is just ridiculously good.
Yeah.
Too.
Yeah. And Saleh knows how to coach that defense. Like nobody's business.
And they came out and said our defense is going to be as good as the Bears, 85.
Yeah.
It's not. But it's very good for a defense in this era.
Yes. Absolutely.
Right? They hit their facts.
Which is why I feel like when it comes to the Jets team and you're talking about the season up until now, you have to set that as an outlier. And I know it's annoying to say that because he threw 4 interceptions.
No,
having the conversation, and I mean in general,
3 interceptions in a film.
Yeah, 4 turnovers, whatever. But he being out.
I agree.
You take it out and you take it behind the shed and you shoot it and you go, okay, thank God that game's over and happened that time ago. And I think you look at the Raiders game and it was like started clicking. It started happening. They were moving the ball. They were doing things and they
integrating different play.
Right. And the Commanders defense came to play that day.
Mm-hmm.
Offense also showed up. And like I said, you still had the dash, the little sprinkle of the creativity of everything there. But
Josh moving right, moving left.
Right.
Passing it to Gabe.
Throwing balls on a rope, on a literal rope.
Not a literal.
Well, it seemed like he threw it on a rope and could just go like this and bring it right back. Like the touchdown throw to Gabe Davis. Like I don't think they talked it up enough. How difficult.
Oh, I agree.
How difficult it is to place that ball where he did because he literally he knew that the defender wasn't going to move. That's what Josh did because if the defender moved an inch or was literally an inch taller, the ball does not get completed. But Josh put it right through here and went that look. And he just whoop. Mm-hmm. And that is one of the hardest throws to make.
He's not going to look fast enough because I can throw it hard.
Right. Yeah. Right. And he just went through it on a rope.
Yep.
And it's
and then this just sort of clicked. Everyone expected Knox to have all these catches, right?
And he doesn't.
Everyone expects Gabe to have all these catches, and he doesn't. Josh locks on. And, I mean, it's very easy to see Josh locks on Diggs.
Yep.
Josh locks on Diggs to get him his numbers. What the Bills have and all these other players, okay, is guys who score touchdowns.
Right.
They know where to be in the end zone.
Mm-hmm.
Think of all of the touchdowns Knox has scored that where he has been in the right place for Josh to get, even if he has to jump 3 feet in the air, they're on the same page, right? Yeah. Same with Gabe, right? If he's like, throw it there, I'll reach over the guy. Don't worry.
Right.
You know?
Like I mean, on that post route, Gabe did not do anything but run a post. Mm-hmm. And I would 100% that when they did that play in practice, it was like just run to the post and I'll put it in. Like run to the pylon and I'll put it right there. And
but
you just need to run underneath.
I seriously think with Gabe, he thinks if they're going to score a touchdown, he elevates his game. He's like, if this is going to get me fantasy points,
right?
I'm upping this. No, I'm serious. That he truly thinks if this is getting me in the end, that his game elevates. Like if he's if this is getting me a highlight, if this is getting me something.
It's funny that you bring that up because during the home opener, when they do the stop time and they do the videos, one of the videos might end up in, maybe it wasn't that, but I saw the video of Gabe Davis and they asked him about all the times Josh has rolled right and thrown him a touchdown. He was like, and he recounted all these times. He's like, oh yeah, I guess that does happen. And it's like, right. He is on the same page. Josh is on the same page. All of these guys, it's just about finishing.
And it's like, how do teams always let Knox just get wide open where Josh can go like this? Knox will catch it, and he never stands up. He always falls to the ground. Even if he's wide open, right? It's like you can't just stand on your no, fine. If you're going to fall to the ground when you catch the ball, just catch the ball, be happy with it, and you have it. Go put it in your locker, whatever you do, and hang it on your shelf, and then life is good. And he's got that. He just has that, and he just needs to develop that. Like when you're talking about expanding the playbook, right? They've tried to get Hardy involved, and it hasn't worked.
But that's and you know what? And that connects to what I was saying with the play where Josh is like, "Oh, what's going on?" It will.
Right.
Wait.
Right.
There will be times, there will be games, there will be a moment where it works.
Yeah.
Keep trying it. Keep doing it. Keep going. But as Bills fans, do it. Just be patient. If they lose tomorrow, okay.
Just be okay.
We just have a little bit
more. You're allowed to be angry.
Right.
If they
especially
lose.
if they get like throttled.
It doesn't matter. If they lose poorly by getting throttled, if they lose on a last second field goal, whatever. If they just lose by 15 because they just couldn't catch up or something, it doesn't matter how they lose. You can be angry.
Yeah. Don't
be angry when looking at the big picture.
And that's the other thing for the Bills is if they lose, they can't let this define their season. And that's the thing. And I think that's what we're also saying to fans. Mm-hmm. Don't let this. If they lose to Miami here, it's going to be annoying. It's going to be pissy, but that's not going to define the season.
Because Miami is peaking.
Right.
It's like week 4. Right. And which week did they peak last year?
Yeah, like 5. Yeah. So it's the same thing.
And who did they play in week 3 last year?
Us. Yeah.
Because this is the game they get up for.
Right.
Right. So we'll see what kind of coach Daniel really is if they beat the Bills and what happens with Miami.
I agree.
Even if they lose to the Bills.
And if this will also, I think, this will be an interesting test for McDermott, not in the terms of knowing what McDermott is, but knowing if we're right.
Yeah.
I think. Because I think if they lose, it's going to be because it's the same thing. I want to open up the playbook. They rein Josh in for whatever reason. They were just doing stupid stuff. And I think that's do stupid stuff. That's why they'll lose.
Or there's the possibility that McDermott comes out and goes, that the Bills win, and they go using all of the stuff that they've been doing. Look, it works. I think he's out of that mentality because of what happened last year. Because last year it worked until it didn't. Okay. Yes. But this is where we have to continue with week 4.
Well, yeah.
Right? So if they win, I don't think they're going to do anything special. I really don't. I think, like you said, hands up, right? Okay, that's fine. But you're still going to use Ed Oliver to try and get to Tua, even though Tua has the fastest release of anyone in the league right now. You still try to get to him, right? You're still going to say Ed. You're still going to tell Ed to pass rush. You're not going to say, hey, do something different. You're still going to play the players to their strength. People have been talking all week about moving Rousseau inside, and so he can put his hands up. And I'm like, well, how do you guard the edge?
Right. No. You don't.
Rousseau's job is guarding the edge on these wicked fast rushers. What are you going to do?
I agree.
You know what I mean?
You can't
try to outsmart yourself.
Yeah. Yeah, right? and I don't think they're going to do that.
So it's like, just play your game and then find out.
Right? Because every week there have been tweaks, and that's been a different thing. There have always been tweaks so far this year. Something has been different. Like they blitzed, like they barely blitzed, but against the Raiders, they blitzed like crazy.
Right.
Against the Commanders, they didn't blitz that much. Right. And it's like, it's because they didn't need to. Because they were like, we'll just play good coverage.
Right.
And that was it.
Mm-hmm.
But against the Raiders, right. Yeah. But against the Raiders, they were blitzing guys off the edge. They had, I think, they had a sack from a DB in that game. And, but against the Commanders, they didn't really do that at all. They were just like, we'll play coverage and it's like every single week, it's like, it's actually like they are. I mean, obviously they do game plan, but
Well, I'm wrapping it up with 2 thoughts. Okay. Another tweet or X on Twitter that I was talking to this week said the Bills have to play said the Bills have to play a 4-3 because if they play a 5-2, like they play a 4-2, and use Tim Johnson, they're going to get destroyed, especially with Poyer. And I said, absolutely not, because Taron Johnson is like a third linebacker. The guy came back like a couple hours later, because that's how Twitter works, and said, Taron Johnson is 192 pounds. I go, and I went back, and I said, you've never seen him hit, you've never seen him play, never seen how durable he is, you've never, blah, 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 blah. And he goes, he is not a linebacker. He doesn't play like a linebacker. And if you think you're going to get past us, then whatever. And then,
right. So he's not going to get past us.
He's not, you have to play the 4-3, etc. And I said, FA.
Fuck around and find out,
yeah. That's what I said. I'm like, fine. You don't want to believe that Taron Johnson is better than our third linebacker? Find out.
Right. Yeah, I think this will be a big test to show if I think if Buffalo wins, then there will be a lot.
I'll be very surprised.
Honestly, I'll be surprised too. I don't know if they're gonna win. I'm confident in them as always because I am a fan. But let's wrap this up. What was your other thought? Predictions. Okay. Not gonna lose. I just can't. So I'll go 35, 38 Bills, 30 Miami.
Why do whenever people make predictions, they always predict within like 5 points of each other? That's what everyone said. Oh yeah, but no games are ever close. So 28-17 Miami.
What happens tomorrow?
So one last prediction.
Okay.
Bears, Denver.
I think the Bears are going to win. I think just Denver's that bad. I don't like Sean Payton. I don't.
Both teams are a mess. Both teams are 0-3.
Yeah. Chicago's going to get the win because there's going to be the story. Everybody's going to be like, "Oh, look at it! Came together and won the game after all the things that happened."
Justin Fields an MVP candidate.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he's going to run for like 250 yards or Anything?
No,
Well,
you have been a wonderful audience.
You made it to the end. We appreciate you for watching. It has been great. It's been fun, wild. As always,
This
remember
has been fun.
To like, comment, and subscribe. Yeah, interact with us at Twitter at Gameday716 or YouTube at Gameday716. And as always, stay happy, stay healthy. Go Bills, go Sabres.
Dr. Pepper brand or Coca-Cola brand, you can sponsor us at any point.
Stay sunny, Buffalo.